Hi folks, Paul here from Canada. Oh, it's been a couple of weeks for me, I think. Lots happened to West Ham in that time. I'm quite upbeat, actually. Thought the board finally moved. It took them long enough, perhaps not in the direction we all wanted. But, you know, they got 50% of the decision right. I'm sorry to see Slav go, but needs must. And his post-match interviews were like listening to Eeyore. He was downbeat, out of ideas, and just generally, I think, a beaten man. It was sad to see. Like I said, he was lovely, but I think the club comes first. And while Moyes certainly is not my first choice, I do believe in getting behind the club, players and manager. We've all got our preconceived ideas about him. I was immensely downbeat when I first heard. I mean, the lack of imagination in my mind was incredible. His last three jobs, though, weren't a total reflection of his ability, I think, but they weren't exactly uplifting either. You had to wonder, really, if Fergie did like Moyes appointing him to that squad. I mean, they'd gone to seed. I reckon if Fergie had carried on with that squad, he would have had a disastrous season. And I think he knew that. He didn't do any worse than Van Gaal the year after, and I think if Mourinho is there right now, of course he's got them in second place, but the style of play is park the bus. I don't think there's much difference there as far as that goes. He's a little more consistent, I guess. And then he went to Real Sociedad. He didn't understand the league, the language, the play, the opposition. So I think we can write that experience off to naivety on his part, inexperience, believe it or not. And then Sunderland, well, the word Titanic springs to mind. But I hope we're not in that category. I think we're probably more like the iceberg in the fact that we're not very mobile and nothing seems to move us. But I don't think we're the Titanic. I'm not sure anyone could have kept them up. But his negativity at the beginning didn't help. His pronouncements that we were going down, there's nothing you can do to bring anyone in to help this squad. Not a smart move, but I think he learned from that. I think it's left him with the motivation to succeed. I think he knows this is it. He has got to polish his CV here. He's got to make a big show. Whether he stays for the 6 months or whether he stays for long term, this is it, and that is good for us. You know, smart people learn from their mistakes. I'm hoping he's in that category. He's quite canny. We can't write off what he did with Everton. More on that a little later. He's come in very upbeat, determined and motivated. From the sound bites I've seen, he seems to have hit the nail on the head fairly quickly. His punditry of the Liverpool match, although a little damning of Bilic, I thought was very, very spot on as far as the training goes, the fitness, I should say. He seems to have hit that. You know, his initial conduct from those news conferences, reports from Rush Green, the sound bites from the few first-team players he's actually got in training have been a relief. You know, double training sessions, clear expectations, no over-the-top pronouncements about the fact we're going to be doing any of this, that, and the other and succeeding. Yeah, that's been good. It's not a sexy decision, though, is it? And yeah, I guess it's a smart decision. I see Everton have just made a play for Watford's silver today. That would be a good move, I think. But Watford have rejected it, and you know, Everton still find themselves a bit rudderless. I suppose we could have gone their route and appointed our Terry Wesley, their equivalent, I think. I was for that, but it's done now, and it's time to get on with it. You know, I'm one that believes that once something's done like that, you have to give everyone a chance. You have to get behind the team. You have to get behind the manager. Everyone deserves that chance. You know, all our preconceptions in the world doesn't mean that you should write the guy off yet. Anyway, how do I rate the board's decision? Or how will I rate it? Well, Moyes won't be able to work his magic overnight. Let's be frank. There's lots of upbeat talk about you know, doing over Watford at their place. I doubt it. I doubt very much whether we'd do that. In fact, a boring clean sheet draw would do me. Not shipping 3 or 4 goals, that would be great. Getting something out of that game, That would be great, because I had absolutely no confidence we were going to do that under Bilic. You know, get the finger in the dam and stop 3 or 4 goals a game. We're at minus 12 goal difference right now. Minus 12. Equal worst in the division. Don't like that. So, you know, with only 8 first-team players, what sort of impact can he have? I know the others are flying in at various times during this week, but one of them, Winston Reid, has been in New Zealand and Peru. 25,000 miles of flying by the time he gets back on Thursday. What sort of shape is he going to be in? You know, we've got one out injured, and we've got possibly Ginge coming back, but not possibly match fit. So, you know, we're still at risk for shipping a few goals. I watched Watford several times, and yeah, they've lost their last 3 games, but they have looked cracking at times. And, you know, I watched them against Arsenal. I watched how quick they are on the counter-attack. And we all know what happened when we went 2 up at our place last season. Or was it the season before? It all blurs. But anyway, I remember, you know, Payet scoring that beautiful goal and then them coming back and beating us, I think, 4-2. You know, let's not hang our hats on Watford this weekend, and let's not judge him on that. And then, of course, we've got Leicester, never an easy fixture. And then we've got some real doozies after that. We've got City, I think we've got United, and I think we've got Chelsea. So I don't think in the short term we can even judge them yet. I think if we start to see the team start to play with consistency, a little bit of fluidity would be nice, but I'm not holding my breath on that one, and that isn't part of my criteria yet. And you know, some organisation and some resilience, some direction, you know, then I'll start to think, well, this could be a success. So in the short term, you know, at the end of the season, my judgment on him will be not where we finish in the division, apart from as long as we're not 18th or down. It will be the form, the consistency in our results. Call me pragmatic, but in the short term, you know, I'm not looking at any particular league position. Like I said, I'm looking at, you know, 17th or better. I'll be happy if by the end of the season we've managed something that he's been quite capable of with Preston and Everton, and that's a 40% plus win ratio. Because frankly, that's what we need. We need that and a positive goal difference, a small, you know, +2, +3. I'd be happy with that. I know it seems low, but look at where we are right now, and we only have 27 games or so to do to get to the end of the season. That's 32 points, excluding any draws, and that gets us over the 40 point mark. And for me, that is the benchmark. I'm not in any pretense we can get 7th or 8th. It would be fantastic if we finish top half from where we are now. And it isn't actually that hard. It's only 6 or 7 points, but he's got to turn this team around. He's got to turn it around. And a few days of training session is not it. That team is at 6s and 7s in so many different ways. You've got to give the man a chance. And, you know, I'm looking at the post-Christmas period of January for me really to start judging this guy.